There are objects in this world that challenge everything we think we know about history. Artifacts so advanced they seem to come from another time, or another mind entirely. Some have been found in places where they should not exist. Others, buried in rock, formed millions, even billions of years before humans appeared. Most experts choose silence. Some dismiss them as coincidences. But the deeper you look, the more the questions multiply. And before we step into these mysteries, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell, because what you'll discover here is knowledge you won't find in any official history book. 1. The Antikythera Mechanism, Greece, 2,000 years old. In 1901, sponge divers exploring the waters off the Greek island of Antikythera came across the wreck of an ancient ship. Among the marble statues and amphorae was a lump of corroded bronze, seemingly insignificant. Years later, as conservators carefully separated the encrusted fragments, they uncovered a network of interlocking gears so precise that even modern watchmakers were astonished. This device could predict eclipses, track lunar phases, and calculate planetary positions, functions so advanced that nothing similar would appear again for over 1,000 years. Some scholars attribute it to a lost genius of the Greek world. Others wonder if the knowledge behind it was inherited from a far older civilization whose legacy has all but vanished. The Antikythera Mechanism is not just a machine. It is a whisper from the ancient past, telling us that history may be far more sophisticated than we've been taught. 2. The Klerksdorp Spheres, South Africa, 3 billion years old. Deep within South Africa's pyrophyllite mines, miners have unearthed small metallic spheres, each perfectly shaped and etched with straight grooves around their circumference. They are no bigger than a golf ball, yet the rock that encased them formed some 3 billion years ago, long before multicellular life existed, let alone humans. Geologists insist they are natural formations, products of slow geological processes, but their symmetry and deliberate-looking markings raise questions science cannot easily answer. If nature made them, it did so with a precision that mimics human craftsmanship. And if they were made by someone, who or what was shaping objects on Earth billions of years before us? 3. The Baghdad Battery, Mesopotamia, 2,000 years old. In the dusty archives of Mesopotamia's ruins, archaeologists in the 1930s unearthed something baffling. A small clay jar, barely the size of a hand, containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod. It seemed ordinary, until someone poured in a mild acid like vinegar. The device came alive, producing a faint electrical charge. This was not supposed to exist 2 millennia ago. Some researchers believe it was used to electroplate gold onto jewelry. Others suggest medical applications, and a few whisper about forgotten experiments with electricity. Officially, it might have been a simple container, but reconstructions prove it works exactly like a primitive battery. And if an ancient civilization could harness electricity, what else might they have discovered and then lost to time? 4. The Piri Reis map, Ottoman Empire, 1513. In a library in Constantinople, Admiral Piri Reis created a map that should have been impossible. Drawn on gazelle skin, it charted the coasts of Africa and South America with startling accuracy. And more shockingly, it depicted Antarctica free of ice. Modern science tells us the last time that continent was ice-free was over 6,000 years ago, long before any known seafaring civilization. Piri Reis claimed his map was copied from older charts, now lost to history. If those source maps were real, they belonged to a culture with global knowledge centuries, perhaps millennia, before the age of exploration. Who were these map makers, and what happened to their world? 5. The London Hammer, Texas, rock dated to 400 million years. In 1936, a couple hiking near London, Texas, stumbled upon a rock split open by erosion. Embedded inside was a hammer, its wooden handle partly fossilized, its iron head so pure it resisted rust entirely. The stone encasing it dated back to the Paleozoic era, when life on land was just beginning. Skeptics argue the hammer may have been encased more recently through rapid mineralization, but tests on the iron show a composition difficult to achieve even with modern methods. If the geological dating is accurate, this tool should not exist. Who was working metal hundreds of millions of years before humans walked the earth? 6. The Ural Micro-Components. Russia, 300,000 years old. In the icy rivers of the Ural Mountains, gold prospectors in the 1990s found something extraordinary under their microscopes. Tiny metallic spirals, coils, and shafts, some thinner than a human hair. Geological analysis dated the layers they came from to over 300,000 years ago, a time when early humans were still mastering fire. Their shapes match components used in modern engineering and even nanotechnology. The official explanation blames contamination from nearby industrial activity. Tonight, no factories existed in that remote region, and some pieces were found buried far too deep for recent origins. If they are truly ancient, then our understanding of technological history may be missing an entire chapter. 7. The Dropa Stones. China, 12,000 years old. High in the Bayan Ha Mountains of China, a 1938 expedition discovered hundreds of stone discs, each about a foot wide, with spiral grooves etched into their surface. Over time, researchers claimed the grooves were a form of writing, telling the story of the Dropa, beings who came from the stars and crash-landed on Earth. The stones contain unusual amounts of cobalt and other metals, not typical of local artifacts. Chinese authorities eventually dismissed them as mere burial markers, but no similar markers exist in the region's archaeological record. Whether the story is myth or mistranslation, the Dropa stones remain one of Asia's most enduring archaeological enigmas. 8. The Crystal Crystals, Mesoamerica. Scattered across private collections and museum shelves, the crystal skulls of Mesoamerica defy explanation. Carved from single blocks of quartz, some are so finely detailed they show no tool marks, and they appear to have been shaped against the crystal's natural grain, a process that should cause it to shatter. The most famous, the Mitchell-Hedges skull, is said to be an exact replica of a human skull in scale and proportion. Skeptics call them 19th-century fakes. Believers point to indigenous legends that speak of skulls holding ancient knowledge or power. Whether relics or replicas, their craftsmanship challenges what we know about pre-Columbian technology. 9. The Shroud of Turin, Italy. In a cathedral in Turin lies one of the most studied and disputed artifacts in history. A linen cloth bearing the faint image of a crucified man. Under close examination, the image is not painted or dyed. It's a subtle discoloration of the uppermost fibers, so shallow it vanishes when viewed from certain angles. Pollen samples link it to plants found only in the Middle East, while carbon dating offers conflicting timelines. No one has been able to reproduce the image's exact characteristics, not in the Middle Ages, and not today. Whether it is a medieval forgery or a relic from 2,000 years ago, the shroud continues to provoke both faith and skepticism. 10. The Saqqara Bird, Egypt, 2,200 years old. In a tomb near the ancient necropolis of Saqqara, archaeologists found a small wooden carving of a bird. At first glance it seemed like a toy, but its proportions were aerodynamic, more like a modern glider than a bird in flight. Tests suggest it could generate lift if scaled up, leading some to speculate it was a model for an ancient flying machine. Egyptologists maintain it was symbolic, perhaps representing the soul's journey. Yet in a civilization capable of remarkable feats of engineering, the Saqqara bird remains a tantalizing hint at knowledge that may have once taken to the skies. These discoveries don't fit neatly into our history books. Some may have logical explanations. Others challenge our understanding entirely. Were they the work of lost civilizations, evidence of visitors from elsewhere, or proof that we are not the first intelligent beings to walk this earth? What do you believe? Share your theory in the comments, subscribe for more mysteries, and join me next time as we journey deeper into humanity's hidden past.